Hey, friends. I am back with the Dream Life is Real Life podcast. And today we've got a new friend, a special guest in Patricia Lohan. She is a Feng Shui expert, speaker, and author. She's into manifesting. She considers herself a healer and a real life Irish Celtic Shaman. Some people even call her the Mary Poppins of Prosperity. Patricia is the creator of PowerHouse Feng Shui and author of The Happy Home, a guide to creating a happy, healthy, wealthy life. She helps entrepreneurs make their homes and businesses magnetic to money, luck, and blessings. She knows that you can't just teach these things in business school. There's so much that lie in between the lines, and there's so many more tools to really tap into top secret. The tools for success sometimes feel like they're top secret. So she's helped thousands of people across the globe embrace Feng Shui, and she creates lasting changes in their businesses, homes, and lives. She's seen firsthand the power of the mind, surrounders, and inner healing, clearing and aligning everything so that it works holistically. She loves entrepreneurship, and with 15 years of experience running her own successful startups and businesses, she is here today to let us in on the secrets and share some of her wealth of knowledge. Welcome, Patricia.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. When I hear that, I'm like, oh yeah, I forget.
Look at you go. It's a good little reminder. Sometimes we're so often in the doing that we forget to take that step back and be like, yeah, you've accomplished a lot in your career and with Feng Shui. So I got to know the dating history. How did you guys meet? How did you and Feng Shui meet? And when did you start hitting it off? What's the story?
Feng Shui was like my teenage love affair. It's like I basically got into Feng Shui when I was 15. I got my first books about it, and I did actually just fall in love with it straight away. I was doing things around my house, actually made I was so just connected to it from the get-go, and knew that it could have an impact and a change and support people, that I actually made my parents hire a Feng Shui expert to come and Feng Shui their businesses. So they were entrepreneurs themselves. At the time we had a small hotel, we were building a new house. There was loads of things, and I got this woman to come and work with my parents, and they're not even into Feng Shui. Like, they were like, this is back in the early 90s. Like,
you
what the hell?
Inkling, you had that magnet within you, and once you got lined up with the thing, you were telling everyone about it. I think we all can have that experience with some aspect of our business. Once you get that taste and you're like, everybody has to know, come over to my house. And how interesting that your parents were building physical spaces, hotels and homes. So my understanding of Feng Shui is in the physicalness of setting up a room or a home to be optimized. But what you just said, Feng Shui a business. Now, is that true just for physical businesses, or how can Feng Shui?
Yeah, for sure. So how you've explained Feng Shui in terms of it being about the physical setup of a room is correct, but it is only like a tip of the iceberg of what Feng Shui is. So Feng Shui is actually acupuncture for your home. It is like energy working for your home. And it's one of the things that's kind of like the biggest misconceptions, is that I just tell everyone where to put their bed and their couch and things. Most of the time I couldn't really care. And the rest of the time there's only certain options in a bedroom or a room or an office that actually work the best, just practically. So Feng Shui is actually this way more holistic and all-encompassing energetic practice that if you're in any way connected to, you're in on your personal growth journey, you'll have heard about raising your vibration, raising your energy, making sure that you feel in alignment and connected, that you have the right mindset, that you have the right things in place, that you have the right practices. Well, as you do that, you're raising your own personal energy vibration. And the same goes for your house. It's exactly the same. The building that you are sitting in, working in, if you're working from home in an office, it is either totally holistically, totally balanced and in harmony, connected to really just the Tao. Like it's very much centered in 5-element theories and philosophies. And when your house is balanced, you are balanced. When your house is balanced and the nice thing is it balances for you personally, but also for your business. Just because I have a background of like, basically, my family are entrepreneurs. I've been an entrepreneur. I love supporting entrepreneurs because I just know how much heart and passion goes into building a business. And, there can be things that can be in the way. And a lot of the times in our personal development world, we think that it's something we're doing wrong. We've got the wrong funnel, the ads are wrong, the I don't know what's it, the ads aren't right, the emails are wrong, you've got the wrong strategy, you're not getting enough people. Actually, for me, I'm like, if things are not flowing, it's often to do with the actual physical environment that you're sitting in. Our homes literally have their own personality, their own energy type, and they can be good for money or bad for money. They can literally be supporting you in bringing in floods of money or not. So
yeah, I've heard, you're going to learn kind of how naive I am to Feng Shui as this conversation goes on, but I feel like I move a lot, but I feel like there have been homes in which I feel more me, or I love going to, and I love spending time at home. Whereas there's been other places where I lived where I'm like, can't go on more walks or eat out enough. And it's never kind of come to my awareness in this way. Because again, I thought of it as arranging furniture in a certain way, but I'm really resonating with this idea that our homes have their own energy, their own personality in some way.
Yeah. And like, this is the thing, as you're doing your own energy is rising up and you're like, yay, but the vibration and frequency of your house stays the same. And typically, if you go back to like when you first got that house, it's a match to your money blocks or your beliefs, or it's a match, but it doesn't change. So it creates this kind of tension and tug of war. And most of my clients will come to me that they've hit some kind of plateau, whether it's an income plateau or, a business exposure, they're not being seen or recognized for the work that they're doing, which kind of ripples back into money as well. Or it's not aligned, like they're doing work and they're getting work, but it's not aligned with actually what they really want to be doing. So there's this sense of like dissatisfaction. So it's like, what? I know, like, this isn't right. So something is just off. And that's typically when people find me and I'm like, it's not you, it's not your business, it's your home,
it's your house,
or your office, it's your house.
If it matched, if I moved into this house with a certain match and now I'm hitting a plateau, do I have to move?
No.
Digital nomad and me kind of wants to say yes, because I love house hunting and I love like that whole game. But most people don't. Most people don't love moving as much as I do.
And actually, like, I've never told anyone that they need to move house. That's the one thing that's so useful about Feng Shui, is that it's totally possible to balance your home. So if we just even go back to the Feng Shui analogy or the acupuncture analogy, the acupuncture is not going to say to you, you need a new body. Like, you're going to put like the needles in, we're going to balance it. But the same goes, like, we're going to balance you, you're going to bring you back into harmony. And that's typically what we want to do with the house. We want to bring it into balance. And then like the remedies and what we work with our clients with is that it brings them back into balance. So it's like this dance of like raising the energy. And what happens is that as the house becomes more lined up, you become more connected to your true path. And start like literally manifesting your dream life. Like this morning, I got an email from one of my clients. I'm not joking. I had to get my husband to sit down to read it to him, and I was crying reading it. She has had windfalls of someone, just an old boss, paid her mortgage off, 270,000 euros. Her husband's just got all these new jobs. She's now down to like a half day, like half hours in work. Her kids are happy. She's like, I'm just like a better mom. I'm the person that I've always wanted to be. I'm doing things that I love. I'm looking after myself. And we've all of this abundance just dropping out of nowhere. And I'm like, this is why I do this, because
Mhm.
it doesn't need to be hard. And, I think this is the thing, the name of your podcast is Dream Life is Real Life. Like, I seriously, like, my first Facebook group was called Dream Life Creators Group, because it is about having a bigger vision for what it is that you want, but you also, and like manifesting is like amazing. I love creating vision boards. I love getting clear on what it is I want, setting these intentions. And I've like manifested so much, like honestly, just the most amazing things, like travel around the world, my amazing business. But it's the fact that it's like the physical environment supports. And this is where it's like the missing piece of the jigsaw puzzle for so many people, is that we just take for granted our physical environment. We don't realize that it is actually could be the biggest sabotaging thing that's happening in our lives. And we're like trying all these things, and it's not changing, or it's kind of changing a bit.
Right.
But not
you never think to look at that, right? We think about our own energy. We think about clearing out our mental space. We think about the relationships, but yeah, especially in this like pandemic, whatever, we've all been spending so much more time creating, thinking, brainstorming, working, eating, playing in our
homes.
And I think this is a great kind of call to action, whether you're doing great or you're in a plateau or you're just really sick and tired of being in your house. Like, this is a great opportunity. And I would love for, kind of kicking up this awareness. Now, if you're listening, you can't unlearn this. You can't unhear what we're talking about here. So where can we start to look? Is it within ourselves that something needs to change? Or can we look out at our home and start to understand where the opportunities lie? Is it outward or inward when it comes to finding that alignment with Feng Shui?
Well, it's outward, because your home is a like literally a mirror to you. So there's many different layers to Feng Shui, and obviously there's just even kind of back to acupuncturist idea. Go to the acupuncturist. She's not going to give you fashion advice, because that's not her job. She's going to check the energy. She's going to balance the energy, but he may give you like supplement advice, nutrition advice, other things that can support the whole being and the whole person, and then use the elements to balance. So with my clients, we work with people on balancing the elements. Every house is totally unique, so it's like a bespoke process. But other things that are really useful and is about, like, first of all, just switching on your eyes around your house. Like, literally, this exercise is called fresh eyes. And I recommend you just like going out to the front of your house and standing outside your front door, your apartment door, whatever it is. Like, we've done studio apartments in Manhattan to like massive mansions in Australia. Like, it doesn't matter the size of the house. It doesn't matter what state or condition it is. It's more about, like, first of all, becoming aware of your environment, and standing outside and taking it in. Like, how does it make me feel? Does it look good? Does it feel tended to, looked after? The front door, does it feel like welcoming, inviting? I just come back to like a client. I remember going to the front door, like, there was all cobwebs, the paint was all chipping off the door, the plants were dead at the door. It's like, when we're talking about Feng Shui, we're talking about bringing energy into our house, like bringing chi in. We want it to be welcoming, opening, inviting, and getting that energy in. So the front entrance is important to just like take it all in, and then coming around your house, your space with fresh eyes. Like, do I love this? Does this, and when we're on kind of dream life, I am like a huge proponent of, like, you can make your home become a vision board for your future. So the imagery you have, the artwork that's on the walls, the items that you're holding onto, like, every single thing has an energy, a vibration. There's probably a story attached to it, good or bad. It may make you feel good. It may make you feel bad. Like, what's going on there? So moving around your place, just really intentionally looking at everything. Now, this doesn't mean you need to get rid of everything. It doesn't mean that you need to throw it all out, but it's about becoming aware of it all, of your space. when it comes to that energy coming in, like we're talking about opportunities, clients, you know, money, all the things flowing in, is it easy to get around? You know, is there places where things are where there's stuff kind of gathered or not tended to, that's being left there for a while, that creates stagnant energy? So then it's not going to move. You're going to feel this sense of stagnancy. And as you move around the place with this sense of fresh eyes, like, is there things that just have not been touched for months, for years? And you're like, what am I doing holding on to this, you know? And even just shift it a little bit. So you're like, okay, I want things to move, things need to move. So just having some fun, like really having some fun. Like, you know, I'm just here in my office. Behind me, I have my favorite poster of all time, Stay Weird. It just reminds me to just stay weird, to have fun, you know, to be playful. And there's like trust your instinct. There's like a little, I want my own Vespa. So that's like part of my little vision board, Italy and my Vespa. This is from one of my clients. My friends bought me this recently, the unicorn. They were like, that's so you're such a unicorn. I am. So it's like, what are the things, what's your wall saying? What's your environment saying about you, about how you look after yourself, how you're looking after your environment? And that like process alone will just like help you get more connected, and you'll have a lot of aha moments. I guarantee it.
Yeah. Well, we've only been in this house for 1 year. When we moved here after we sold everything in the States, we moved down to Mexico. We brought our dog and like 1 container of clothing, and this house was furnished beautifully. And we had looked at many houses, and there was that, like, we can't explain it. We just know this is it, because of the way it like drew us in and the way that we felt, and even how it was decorated for us. And I think it's been working pretty well to this point. But just this last week, my husband had a wild hair, like this house husband phenomenon. I don't know. He just like went deep cleaning, and he took all the things that we had on the kitchen counter, like a blender, coffee maker, things that we use every day, but he just like tucked them into a drawer. And I never do this, but I've been working in the kitchen this week, and I'm just kind of connecting the dots here. It's like there's something that like literally drew us into this house first, and now like with more space in the kitchen, I'm feeling more inspired to work there. Maybe I'll even cook someday, who knows? But I'm seeing this play out in my own life. But again, my understanding of Feng Shui, as naive as it is, was always that we would have to rearrange in a specific way. But is it just rearranging in general, or is there like a right and wrong way to do it?
It depends. Okay. So it depends on the room, you know? So for example, your workspace, like the office, for me, the 2 areas that are kind of like important in terms of setup are your bedroom and your office. Your bedroom is the place that you're going to spend the most time. Like you spend a lot of time in your bedroom, you know, you spend 8 hours maybe sleeping there. And it's the place where you're meant to be resting for rest, romance, and relaxation. So I do like people to have, like, there's certain things that are good to have set up in your bedroom. And this is like best practice, like a nice, you know, good solid bed. So don't sleep in a broken bed. I know this sounds like crazy, but I'm like, honestly, I've had clients, lots of people with broken beds or no headboards. There's no sense of support. There's a lot of things that are like symbolic, at bedside tables, you know, so you're creating balance and harmony in the bedroom with 2 nice bedside tables, 2 lamps, thinking about this sense of balance. If you're in a relationship, or if you want to call in a relationship, that you're creating space for this other person in your life. And then in your bedroom, you know, the bed position, and this is one that's very tricky for some people, because and I think also it's this dance with Feng Shui, because what we've learned about Feng Shui is that it's about positioning of certain things and the way it's set up. But actually, you know, there's some bedrooms that the bed will only go in one place. So then that kind of kind of creates this real negative connection with feng shui. And, you know, my own personal master bedroom, our house is designed in a way where the master bed is not in the best position. It's just not. We can't put it anywhere else. It's not the end of the world. We get great night's sleep. The rest of my house is totally feng shui, you know. So it's like you focus on what you can do as opposed to what's wrong. And that's a really important thing with feng shui, is that you've heard things that you may have heard, oh, that's it. And then you kind of go, I can't do any feng shui. My bed's wrong. And I'm like, no, like just go do everything else.
Yeah.
So in your bedroom, the main things would be to make sure under your bed is empty, so you get a good night's sleep, so there's nothing distracting you in your dreams. Making sure that the artwork is calm, serene, like feels restful. And then after getting a good, you know, not having too much red, no work stuff in your bedroom, no office, or kind of even workout equipment, like that's exhausting. You want to just think about like sleeping and resting in your bedroom. And then when the flip side goes to the office, it's similar, you know. For example, like I am in a really great position with my desk right now. This is the optimum position. You sit with your back to the wall, you can see the door, you have nice support. I have lovely light here with me, with my window here. I have a really nice, good, strong chair. And I make my office like a place that I absolutely love. You know, I've just kind of described all my favorite artwork that I have in here. It's a place that inspires me. I come in, I've got my favorite fluffy rug under my feet. So create a space that inspires you. When it comes to your office and your workspace, have just your work things in it. Like make sure it's a space that's just like solely focused on work. And you know, that imagine, like this is, I know in this world that we're in, which is mostly online and digital, that like none of your clients are going to maybe come and sit in your office with you. But I want you to imagine if they did. Like how would you change your office? Like how would you make that space like a welcoming place that people get excited about, and that they're like, oh my, that you get excited about? Because you need to feel that when you come into your place that you're going to be working and sending invoices from, doing your creating from. You want to be like, oh my God, I'm so happy to come and sit on my good chair and create this space that feels inspiring.
All right, I'm breaking a bunch of the rules, okay? But this is helpful. And what I'm focusing on is what you said about like focusing on what's going well, or like what you can control, and like knowing that some of the things aren't going to be perfect, just the way that your house and your life might be set up. So I'm going to take that with me because right now we kind of have like we're using this bedroom as like many things, right? We have this extra bedroom, and I'm working here, and I've got my workout stuff, and I've got lots going on. But you're inspiring me to make a decision. I've been just like not quite sure where I want to land. But one thing I have heard about offices is you mentioned being able to see the door. And I noticed this in an old apartment we were in. Before I had my office, like my desk was like in the corner, literally everything was behind me. And I liked the window. So my desk was facing out the window, but it was totally in the corner. And I swear I switched the desk to face the door. It was a little complicated for videos, but I did that, and it was immediate, the opportunities that started coming in. So that's my sort of like experiential test with feng shui. And I'm guessing if it's worked for me, you know, again, like with the,
oh my God,
totally. Are these like theories, and is it about feeling?
Try them. Like, I think that, to be honest, that one, like sitting with your back to the door, is like your back is to the opportunity. You're like basically not able to see what's coming at you. And there's another flip side of that. Like with your back to the door, your kind of nervous system and your fight or flight response is like on. You're like on, because you can't see what's coming. This is like naturally like how we would be. We're in a much more heightened sense of just like not feeling supported. Now, years ago, I remember doing this client's house or office, and I got to the office, and it was like a husband and wife team. And it was like they were running two separate different businesses, because he was like, hi, how are you doing? And I'm like, oh, great. And then she's like, hi, and she looked so drawn, overwhelmed, stressed out. And then I walked in and I could see their desks, and I'm like, no, wonder. He's sitting over in the far corner, back to the door, back to the wall, he can see everything, he's got the space, there's people between him before anything gets to him, so he just feels like untouchable. And she's basically sitting right with the door behind her. And I said, does everything come in and feel like it lands on your shoulders? You're totally overwhelmed and lands on your desk. And you just never see it coming. It's all these surprises and you're just like totally stressed out. She burst out crying. She's like, how did you know? And I'm like, I can see it. Like, this is it. Your desk is exactly like that. So we just shifted her around, and it's just that it really does work. And, you just even think about like a big CEO of a huge corporation, like they're not going to be at the front door. They usually have these big, beautiful offices, so starting to take the place more serious. And, it's like sometimes, especially say you're saying you're in this little corner place, you can feel cornered in. You feel like you're going nowhere. Like, especially if you're up against a wall, there's a sense of going nowhere. But if that's the case and you're listening and you're like, I have to sit my back to the door, get yourself a small mirror, put it on the desk. So at least you can see what's coming. If you're sitting and you have to be in with this wall in front of you, like, create a vision board, like make your space be like, where am I going? What am I doing this for? Like, see the sense of expansion. And when I was working in my parents' business many years ago, I remember literally working in the office, and my office is called the dungeon. Hello. And we're down in the basement. I remember one day going like, this has got to change. And there was nowhere to put it was so tiny. So I went upstairs. All of the staff, all the customers had this beautiful sea view of the promenade. And I took a photo of it and I got the printers to print a huge big poster of it and put like a window ledge around it to kind of bring nature and the sun in. It was like this beautiful photo. And you come down and I used to feel like, oh my God, like at least I brought something in, just to feel that sense of expansiveness and openness.
Yeah.
So it is possible to like do subtle little tweaks.
Yeah. And with that idea with the window or the mirror to like bring in more, you said something about balancing the elements. So is it true that we need nature in every room, or what elements were you referring to when you mentioned that?
Yeah, sure. So I don't recommend having all elements or having elements in all of your house or everywhere, because basically it's they can be either, they are what we would recommend with our clients when I create their personal report, and I would be specifically telling them to put specific things in places. So it'll be like me saying to everyone, like, oh, get acupuncture needles and just like pop them in your body. You need metal. That was not a good idea. So essentially it is a great idea to have some nature in your house, but some people they're like, oh, I bought a water feature, where should I put it? I'm like, don't put it in. No, don't put it in against my advice and with my advice, because I would need to analyze your house and then I'll tell you where to put it or where not to put it, or don't put it in at all, because it could be the most amazing thing to activate the energy in your home, or it could be the worst thing and create all these crazy financial issues for you. So there's some things, and that's where Feng Shui has like, there's like a limit in like, these are the things. So having some plants in your house is fine, but like don't go mad at plants, like bring some nature in, but not like millions of plants. Just if you have a plant, that's totally fine. But yeah, in terms of like some elements would be fire element, but having too much fire can cause like arguments and disagreements and exhaustion and burnout. So it's really a very nuanced practice when we come to kind of the nitty-gritty of the elements.
Yeah, like you said, no house is the same. It's not positioned in the same place. And we probably bring, I'm totally with you. And my curiosity is so piqued. But again, I think starting with that new eyes exercise that you talked about, these things might be very obvious, right? Like if your back is up against a wall you're facing a wall, like you might be up, against something. And I love starting at the front door and like taking a tour of your home and starting to think like, is anything getting stuck? And does this make sense? Is there some flow in the house being that first step? And then where could people take a deeper dive with you and get even more insight into the work that you do and continue learning all the things that you know so much about?
Well, for sure. You're more than welcome to come and join me at patricialohan.com. And that is where I have loads of different guides. So I have like a checklist, like a Feng Shui checklist to download all the different things that are going on in a house kind of to be mindful of. I also have a guide for money and for love and how to set your office up for success as well. I am going to be releasing a series of free trainings in the next couple of weeks. So if you just come and connect with one of those, I'll be doing live ones where I'll be giving people feedback and some really hands-on tips to get your home all set up for this lovely Chinese New Year.
Woo, yes, I love it. PatriciaLohan.com. We will make sure that those resources are linked because I know this is a game changer for folks who take advantage of setting up your home and your workspace for optimal success. So Patricia, thank you so much for being here. I know it's late where you are in the world.
Okay.
And like I said, we'll make sure we're linked so that folks can continue the conversation with you. And listeners, I'll be back next week with another inspiring guest that will help make your dream life your real life. Until then.